The inner work that you have and continue to put in on your personal development journey can completely transform how others perceive you. It is because of this that you'll encounter many people who find themselves attracted to you for different reasons and in different ways. Some will be attracted to you for positive reasons and others for negative reasons. So, as well as sharing the 5 reasons authenticity makes you attractive, I'm also going to share some valuable advice and tips throughout this video. So, make sure you stay right to the end. Welcome to the BU channel, where we do a deep dive into personal development and look at it through the lens of authenticity. I'm Safia, author of the book BU, Your Life Depends on It, the original volume, and the Transformation Journal. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to clarify that we're going to be discussing, of course, the topic of attraction, but I don't want us to limit our thinking to the context of a romantic relationship or romantic interest. We're going to be talking about all types of relationships in many different contexts. Okay, so just keep an open mind as you go through the video. Secondly, I'm going to be talking about 2 different types of attraction throughout the video, and it's very important that you understand them, otherwise you are going to be completely lost for the rest of the video. Okay, so the first type of attraction I'm going to be discussing is positive attraction, and that is pretty much exactly what you think it is, or assume that it is. It's when someone's interest in you evokes positive feelings and it's coming from a healthy and secure place. Okay, and negative attraction sounds a little bit like an oxymoron, but just work with me here. Negative attraction is just in essence the opposite. It's when someone's interest in you is coming from an unhealthy, insecure place within them, and it actually evokes negative feelings. So we're going to go into a lot of depth about that in the video. Just keep in mind as well that these signs of different types of attraction can emerge early on in your interaction with someone, and they can also manifest later in your relationships with people. So the first tip I'm going to share is to use your discernment. Not all attention is good attention, and your discernment is going to help you decipher why another person has an interest in you and what exactly their intentions are. So using your discernment will help you to know the difference. I think right now, before we go any further, we'll drop our affirmation in the comments, and our affirmation for today is, my discernment always keeps me safe. Drop it right now in the comments. The first reason authenticity makes you attractive is because of your confidence. As an authentic person, knowing exactly who you are allows you to walk proudly in your purpose, and others can recognize your strength and your quiet confidence. Those who are positively attracted to you will want to be around you. They'll want to engage in conversation with you, because being around another confident person makes them feel even more confident. It makes them feel enthusiastic, excited, and inspired even. On the other hand, those who are negatively attracted to your confidence will respond quite differently. Some might pretend to ignore you. Meanwhile, they're intently observing your every move because they're still drawn to that confidence. Some might gossip and start rumors about you. Others might accuse you of being arrogant and thinking too highly of yourself, maybe even making some comments that make you want to shrink as a person. But this is because your confidence highlights their feelings of inadequacy, because they think you're making them feel small. They want you to feel the exact same way because they're operating from a place of jealousy and insecurity. My first tip to handling these negatively attracted people is to first check yourself. Before you jump to the conclusion that people are behaving negatively towards you because they're jealous of your confidence, I want you to be very sure that it is indeed confidence that you're exuding and not arrogance. There's a thin line between the two. Confidence is coming from a foundation of self-esteem, self-love, self-appreciation, Whereas arrogance has absolutely no foundation whatsoever. It's a bravado, it's a mask that you're putting on to others. So first, be sure of that. The next tip I'll share is to not take things personally. Understand that how others behave towards you is entirely a reflection on them. So if they're jealous of the fact that you're able to take up so much room and you're not afraid to be yourself unapologetically, then that's for them to deal with and not you. As long as you're happy with yourself and how you carry yourself, that's all that matters. The only thing that's a reflection on you is how you behave and how you think of yourself. The second reason authenticity makes you attractive is your high vibration. Authenticity is the highest vibration a person can emit, so much so that your energy can be felt as you walk into a room. Those who are positively attracted to you will also bring a high level of energy and enthusiasm to your interactions. You'll even feel like you've gained energy after you've interacted with them. On the other hand, those who are negatively attracted to your high vibration won't be able to reciprocate your energy, but through your interactions with them, they'll actually deplete you of your energy in an attempt to replenish theirs, whether it's conscious or unconscious. They have a very parasitic energy pattern, if you will. You'll also find generally that they can't navigate your energy because they're operating from a place of confusion, maybe even overwhelm and fear. You might find that your interactions with those who are negatively attracted to your high vibration are disjointed and might have an undercurrent, a strange undercurrent of tension. And maybe while you're interacting with them, you might be talking to them and you could kind of notice that they're staring through you during the conversation. They're not fully present with you. And that can be because, that they're overwhelmed. My first tip to handling this type of negative attraction is to protect and preserve the purity of your energy. It is so important that you're practicing spiritual hygiene. You need to avoid places, people, and things that drain you of your energy. Because remember, your energy is very rare. So you're not going to be able to readily replenish it. And it's just so important that you protect it and cherish it as much as you possibly can. The next tip I have for you is to monitor your internal environment very, very closely. Okay? You won't be able to predict, of course, every place, person, and thing that you encounter, but when you do come across them, observe how you are inside. When you go to that place, do you feel invigorated and full of life afterwards, or do you feel completely drained of your energy and tired? When you interact with that person, do you feel better about yourself or do you feel worse? These are the things you need to pay attention to. And as well as this, follow your intuition. Okay, your intuition, I've mentioned it in several videos, is going to guide you in many different situations. So those are the things you need to pay attention to. How do you respond to different external stimuli? The third reason authenticity makes you attractive is your beauty. Because you strive to take good care of yourself from the inside out, you don't need to rely heavily on makeup, accessories, and fancy clothes to look good. You understand that the healthiest version of you is the most authentic you, so you prioritize your health and allow your natural beauty to shine through. People who are positively attracted to your beauty in this way will appreciate and admire you. They might even compliment you. They might see you as someone they can start a friendship or a relationship with. You might notice some similarities between people who are negatively attracted to you though, in that they will also give you compliments and seem to appreciate and admire how you look. But the key difference is that you might notice an infatuation or obsession from that person. They could want to rush into a relationship with you, but find that the relationship lacks substance because it's just based on how much they like the way that you look, and it's not a true foundation of a relationship. You might receive excessive amounts of compliments from them to the point where maybe it makes you feel uncomfortable or awkward. It's important, however, that with this type of person, you move slowly, or just in general, that you move slowly, because that gives you the time to carefully watch and observe a person's actions and decipher their intentions. Because yes, it can feel good to receive compliments and attention for how you look, but again, not all attention is good attention. So moving slowly at a particular pace allows you to think logically rather than just irrationally responding to that level of attention. Another tip I would share here is to establish boundaries. If you're receiving comments and attention that makes you uncomfortable, there's nothing wrong with making that clear respectfully. Okay? If you feel the need to set some distance, then do that as well, because I reiterate again, not all attention is good attention. Another sign that somebody might be negatively attracted to your beauty is that they'll want to compete with you. I think this sign is a very obvious one, but we'll talk about it anyway. They're operating from a place of jealousy, envy, maybe even hate, because they might be acting as if you're stealing beauty from them. But there's nothing wrong with you being beautiful and another person being beautiful. It's just that they're struggling to acknowledge that. They do not have the mental capacity to understand that. So they might make negative comments about the way you look to affect the way that you're embodying your own beauty. But it's important that you remain consistent. Don't compete, change, or think about what they're doing and what they're saying about your beauty. Keep doing you. Keep expressing your beauty in the way that you're led to express your beauty. Okay, don't be drawn to the low level that they're being drawn to. The fourth reason authenticity makes you attractive is because you're interesting. While pursuing authenticity, you have learned to keep an open mind. You've thought deeply on a lot of different subject matter and have a variety of unique opinions on different topics. Because of this, you have a wide knowledge base on yourself, others, and the world around you, and that makes you a very interesting person. It makes others interested in you and curious about what you know. Those who are positively attracted to this aspect of you will want to ask interesting questions and perhaps bring up subject matter that they wouldn't with anybody else. There'll also be a mutual sharing of information, knowledge, experiences, and opinions. Someone who's negatively attracted to this aspect of you and operating from a jealous space will exhibit signs of envy. They might find themselves wanting to one-up you in every conversation. While you're talking about your experience on your weekend holiday, they have to bring up their 6-month amazing round-the-world trip that was the most amazing experience of their entire life, just to diminish the perception of your experience. Even if it means making up a story, they'll always want to say something more interesting than you because their fragile ego won't allow you to have the spotlight for 1 minute. Another sign that someone might be negatively attracted to this aspect of you is kind of a strange sign, but some people might hide their personality from you or suppress their personality. They'll want to interact with you, but because they're so fearful of judgment, because they know that you think very deeply and you're very analytical in how you think, they don't want to be negatively judged by you. So you might see them relaxed and having fun with other people, but when they interact with you, they're very stoic, expressionless, emotionless, and very limited in what they share. Another sign someone is negatively attracted to you is they're very opportunistic in conversation. What I mean is they see that you're an interesting person and you have a lot of knowledge. So they'll bring up certain things in a way that they can extract information from you or fish for advice from you, which of course is a very selfish-minded way to approach things. Another sign of negative attraction, someone with a more cruel and negative intention might orchestrate the conversation in a way that makes you do all the talking while they're listening and gathering your personal information, your opinions, your interests, your family information, what your past is, your goals for the future, what you're interested in, and use that information against you in the future. It can sound pessimistic, but that's just the world that we're living in. And so my major tip for handling this type of negative attraction is to ensure there is conversational balance. Conversations are a give and take. You shouldn't leave a conversation feeling that someone else knows your entire life story while you barely know their first name. By the same token, you shouldn't feel that you've taken on all of their burdens while they barely know or cared to know anything about you. There should be always a conversational balance, a give and take, roughly equal sharing of information. When it comes to handling people who want to one-up you in conversations all the time, again, there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries and maintaining a distance from that sort of person. That type of person always wants an audience, and it's no fun to talk to someone who always wants to hijack the conversation and make it about them. So there's nothing wrong with maintaining boundaries and keeping a distance. The fifth reason authenticity makes you attractive is because you're a high-value person. When you've taken the time and put in so much effort to understand yourself and become of value to yourself, that gives you the capacity to use your passions and gifts to be of value to other people. This inspires people who are positively attracted to you. They might want to model after and learn from you. Their appreciation for your ability to use your gifts to benefit others might even motivate them to present you with opportunities that maximize your gifts. Other people who are jealous perhaps and negatively attracted to your high value might be resentful of the power and ability that you have to give to others, even if the person you're giving to is them. In their mind, if you're giving, that means you're giving to people who are less than you. So even if you're just to compliment them, they might take offense and not respond to it kindly because they believe that you're putting yourself in a position above them. Another sign that someone is negatively attracted to you is someone who's dealing with feelings of inadequacy, and they might want to put you on a pedestal and maybe rush into a relationship with you. Again, it could be a professional, platonic, or romantic relationship. And over time, that could turn into a sense of entitlement. You might find that they feel entitled to all of your time, attention, and resources. This can manifest as jealousy, small comments, trying to isolate you from the other people in your life who are benefiting from the value that you're giving to them. And it could even turn into full-blown controlling behaviors. This is why it's important that you give to other givers. Give to people who understand and appreciate the very act of giving. People who are compelled to reciprocate when you give to them. My other tip is also to operate in silence. Okay? There are people with predatory minds out there. They're looking for people who are ready to give. And when you're operating under the radar and you're an unknown quantity, that can help you to successfully navigate and give to people without piquing the attention of those who are predatory minded and want to take advantage of what you have to give. And my final tip for you is to make sure you have a good support system. Keep good relationships around you where they are safe and mutually beneficial. It's very healthy to have several different relationships. Don't allow anyone to convince you that they should be the recipient of all of your value, because that is just not the case. Although much of what makes you attractive is related to the energy that you exude, we simply cannot negate the pivotal role that appearance plays in how we're perceived by others. It's so important that we understand how others perceive us, because without knowing so, life will be incredibly difficult for us to navigate. So I want to bring your attention to both of my books and the Appearance chapter, which is on page 117 in the original volume and page 85 in the Transformation Journal. In the original volume, it introduces you to the 6 elements of appearance, how it impacts your perception of yourself and other people's perception of you. In the Transformation Journal, you unpack this even more and explore your own 6 elements of appearance and how it impacts your perception of yourself and again, how others perceive you. But together, both of my books explore a powerful approach to you taking complete control of your image and transforming and improving how others perceive you. So if you're interested in those, I'm going to leave a link to those in the comments below. I will leave the page numbers that I just referenced as well, so you can get the digital bundles, which comes with a couple of posters, or you can get the full transformation bundle, which comes with these books, your bookmark, and the physical posters as well. So check that out in the comments below. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. I trust that you enjoyed it and found it very informative. If you did, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with someone else you think needs to hear this as well. Keep shining, and always remember, be you. Your life depends on it. See you in the next video. Bye for now.